Hello, my name's Owen and welcome to the JOL Wedding Podcast. Join myself and my co-host Caroline as we bring you all the inspiration and advice you need whilst planning your wedding.
Where should we begin?
Well, episode one.
Episode one.
We've been planning this for a while. And
back and forth. Shall we do this? Shall we do that? Shall we do this? And we just think, well, actually, like we were just saying just before when we were making the coffees, how do we do this? This is us. This is relax. This is family business. This is family home. And that's what we want. So that's why we were tying it in, wasn't it?
And what's better to start with? Wedding planning.
Wedding planning, definitely.
Wedding planning. And who better to have on than regional winner,
thank you,
national finalist, Amelia Thompson.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad.
Good.
Not too bad.
Good.
Keeping busy?
Always so busy. How about you guys?
Yeah, really busy. Start of the year. Obviously, everyone starts planning at the beginning of the year. So you get probably our busiest time for inquiries, isn't it? And bookings.
Yes, yeah. Well, you got all these wedding fairs going on. Everyone's kind of got engagement, Valentine's and Christmas.
Yeah.
Thank God, Valentine's out of the way.
Yeah.
That's finished with. No pressure on couples or anything to do anything special. They can just kind of relax now and kind of get on with it.
Do you find, like in a whole new year, people, even though they got such a mix of people that are looking and planning now, people that have been engaged for a few years, now thinking, right, we need to get a wiggle on, and then really excited couples that are going, oh my God, we've just got engaged.
100%.
What do we do?
100%. And I think, not trying to go back to this, but mentioning the C word, COVID, now that's actually fully gone, people are now trusting they can just go ahead with their wedding. Because I still think that last year people were still a little bit sceptical as to going ahead with planning, because they were just on edge. There's the anxiety around COVID and things like that. But also now, obviously, the price of living, I think people are still kind of a bit cautious about going into planning. And
I think things have changed since COVID as well. You know, years ago, people would invite everybody, and now people are being really choosy of who they're inviting, what they actually want from the wedding day as well. Yeah,
absolutely. I think people are embracing intimate weddings a little bit more.
Yeah, they are.
If they can get away with it. Obviously, there's still couples out there that have got large families, they can't quite get away with it. I'm one of those brides where we've got two large families, so we can't get away with a small wedding. But I think a lot of people are considering the smaller intimate weddings and doing things slightly differently. I've got a few weddings this year where clients are having intimate ceremony followed by an intimate meal, and then having drinks reception after, and then having more people join them, and then the evening and having more people join them again.
Oh, okay.
So breaking up the day a little bit more.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, go on, tell us about your journey. How did you get started into?
Oh my goodness.
Into this.
So I was 16, and obviously at that age, parents are like, "Come on, you should get yourself a little part-time job." So whilst at school, I applied to just do some waitressing with a catering company at my local wedding venue, which is now the wedding venue I'm actually getting married at. So I've gone around in a full cycle, and I'll never forget my first day. My dad dropped me off. And he pulled up into the car park, and we heard this really, really loud noise. And we looked up, and it was the helicopter that the bride was arriving in. And I remember at that point, I thought, this is going to be such a fun job.
Oh my word.
So I worked with Jenkinson's Catering for a few years, built up my knowledge about weddings. Being chatty old me, used to talk to all the suppliers, used to talk to all the wedding coordinators and get to know their job and their role on the day. I used to just absolutely love it. My journey took off.
It's nice actually seeing what happens behind the scenes.
Yes.
So this is where we pick up so much of our knowledge and
Absolutely.
what venues are amazing, what venues probably aren't so amazing.
Yeah.
Because we can see the waiters like headless chicken trying to get service out, and there's a queue at the bar, and even down to the bride coming down ready to see the registrars and things like that, and just making it so smooth running.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, I used to pick the wedding coordinators' brains and ask them what they do, what their job entails, all the stress and everything that comes with the job, because I was just so interested in the industry from such a young age. I remember some of my favourite weddings at such a young age, working with them, and it was just amazing. My love for weddings grew from then, really, when I was 16.
So then what happened then actually start your own business? What kicked that off?
Yeah, so I actually went to university for a year and studied dance in Manchester.
That's a huge difference.
Massive difference.
That's like you.
That is like me.
You.
That is like me.
You know, doing a degree in sport and physical education and then going, I don't want to do
Then
anything with that.
going, no. I mean,
Yeah.
well, I've grown up in this industry kind of since I was about 12 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when JOL first officially started.
Yeah.
I started on the videography kind of page of it. Well, it was 2 years ago now.
It was 18 months, wasn't
18
it?
months,
So you
yeah.
started through COVID.
Yeah, as soon as COVID ended, that's when I started. And I started my business. I can't think of a better time to have started it.
Yeah.
In my first 16 months, I ended up filming 18 weddings.
Yeah.
But
Amazing.
that's just because...
In the first 6 months, that was?
First 6 months up until December. And then even last year was crazy. Got to travel so many different places, so many wonderful venues. But I always think of... I feel sorry for these couples who are planning the wedding because you see so much stress that they're under.
Yes.
Also the brides and the grooms.
Yes.
All us lads turn up, say yes, and have a drink.
Honestly, yeah. The grooms can roll out of bed like an hour and a half before the ceremony, have a quick shower, get in a suit, bit of spray, they're done. They're good to go. The brides have got like 6 a.m. starts, hair, makeup, dress steamed, everything like that.
It's crazy. You go and say photograph or film the boys getting ready, getting the groom getting all put together. It takes 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The bride takes all morning.
Yeah.
So there's so much stress that the bride's being put under with all this planning, and it's finally coming together on that morning. Start from the beginning. On the day, what is your role from soon as, or say, get in touch with a couple, say at a wedding fair, or someone's got in touch with you.
Mm-hmm.
What is the process from then up until the wedding day?
Yeah, so for me, it's relationship with my clients is the most important thing.
Yeah.
So should they inquire, when they inquire, it's definitely a consultation via Zoom, and if we can, in person as well, because I think it's so important that we have a good relationship and that we gel together.
You obviously have you a year degree in dance?
Yes.
And then what happened then?
So didn't enjoy it, and admitting that to my parents was probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And they said, that's fine, you've tried it, you've given it a good go. I came home. So obviously at that point, it was very much, right, I do need to get a full-time job now. I've not gone back to university. I have no idea what I want to do. And very cliche, I remember watching A Christmas Wedding Planner on Netflix. One of my favourite films.
I love it. They're the ones that you're on Netflix or something like that.
Easy
really
to watch.
easy, cheesy watches, aren't they?
They're
oh
so,
my
it's
God,
so
they
cringy.
are so
It's like the cringiest film you'll ever watch. But I remember watching it thinking, I used to love that job in catering.
Yeah.
I want to do that. I want to do weddings. So I applied for a venue to be a coordinator. Now, I was so open and transparent with them. I said, I've got no coordination experience, only the catering. And went to the interview and got the job. So following that, I then was a wedding coordinator at this venue. So from that, I learned a lot that I know now. A lot, yeah. But obviously, I had the knowledge of catering. So when it came to, times the day and times the food can come out, and the quality of food, and even things down to the setup of the cutlery and the glassware on the table, I was perfect at. So I was able to provide that knowledge.
Getting all those details spot on.
Yeah, I'm very OCD about table setup as well, because the catering company I worked for, it had to be nothing less than perfect. But I'm glad it was that way, because now my weddings are very much the same. So
from that then, so you worked as a wedding coordinator. How did you then go, actually, I want to be a wedding planner. I'm going to do this from the right at the beginning, meeting clients, all the way to then delivering the final day and everything like that? I
realised that I want to be my own boss. That's as far as it goes. I was respectfully didn't want to get underpaid anymore, because I was. Yeah. And it was the long hours, which obviously does come with the industry, but I was working for someone else. I just didn't really. I think that's it, isn't it? When you're working for someone else, they reap the benefits of your hard work. Absolutely. So for us, it is amazing. If you want to have a day off, you can book a day off. Yeah. That's it. You don't have to, ask for permission or anything like that. And like you say, wedding industry is ridiculously long days. Yes.
ridiculously long days. I think you don't realise, and I think every wedding we go to, some guest goes, oh my God, what time are you here till?
Yeah.
Oh, we're here till about such a time. Oh my God, it's a long day for you.
Yeah.
And we're like, this is every weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no, we're so used to it now.
Oh, we are so used to it.
We've been starting it, or got up at 6 o'clock, starting it, well, obviously this is peak summer, starting at 7 o'clock. Couples got married at 11.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're still staying there till 11 o'clock until it's got to get dark. So
absolutely.
We've got first dance, and so even if they say a couple's got fireworks, my God, it's got to be dark.
Well, absolutely.
So you're looking at about a 14, 15 hour day.
Easy.
Yeah.
But because, we do so many of them, we get so used to it.
And I think it's pure adrenaline on a wedding day. You just run off adrenaline, and it's the excitement of it all. And I think for me as a planner, working with clients for a year plus, planning their wedding, seeing it all come together is the most rewarding feeling ever. So at that point, I kind of don't want to miss anything. I want to be there all day to see it all, even if it's like sparklers and fireworks and stuff.
Yeah. No, I'm the exact same. Like going through, it's got such a nice structure to the day. You just know what's coming.
We section it, don't we?
We section it down.
And then we'll go groom prep, then we do service, then we go group shots, then we go couple shots, and then we'll just go check, and then then, right, that bit's done.
Yeah.
So we're on to this bit, and then we're on to this bit. But so when do your clients typically get in touch with you then?
So they're all so different. So some clients get in touch from the minute they're engaged. They're so excited. They want to dive straight into wedding planning. They have no idea where to start. I'm here. Some clients have got it all sorted. Some clients have gone for kind of like a barn, DIY wedding venue, and they just need someone to run the day. So it really does depend on where they're at with their planning process, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you find there's more of a niche to barns? This season, I think, obviously beginning of this year, so many couples are now looking at barn venues.
Yes.
Yeah, at a wedding fair yesterday, I spoke to a couple, and they were debating whether to go for a house, so everything's kind of there in one place.
Yeah.
But then they love the idea of a DIY wedding.
Yes.
And I said to them, I'm not gonna lie, it will be quite stressful because there is a lot to do. Say like a marquee wedding.
Yeah.
You've got to obviously get the marquee for starters. Then you've got catering, music,
toilets
little
things
well.
like generator, flooring.
It's
a lot.
So much that needs to go into it. But having someone to help run the day is what those weddings kind of lack.
Yes.
So it gets. So they say, speech is going to be about 5 o'clock, but it ends up being about 6 o'clock because people are starting to get on the drink quite early, and it's hard to get them all in. You need someone there to command and say, come on, we're going to sit down.
Just shout at them.
Speeches.
That's pretty much what I do. By the end of one day, I've got no voice at all. So I'm shouting all the time.
Well, I think that's where you really come into your own. Like you say, with venues like marquees, the barn type of venues, because you've got no one there that is running the timings of the day, and especially when you've got your caterers as well that going, right, food is out at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you've still got people that are not sat down ready for that.
Yeah.
They're still outside drinking,
Yeah.
or they're still having photos, whatever they're doing. It needs someone to say, right, okay, then let's get people in. Let's get people sat down. Introduce the bride and groom. On all of that. Right, first dance is at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it's all that timings that if there's no one there coordinating that day, whether it's been you as a wedding planner or someone from a venue, then it all just sort of blends into one, and there's no structure, which
100%.
which is brilliant for people who want the really relaxed ones.
Yes.
But really relaxed weddings.
You still need someone there.
But you still need some structure to it.
You still need someone there because it's in some venues, if there's no one on site, sometimes I've locked up the venue. So things like that, opening it and locking at night, who's going to do that if I'm not there? So no, absolutely. I think even it's just ensuring that the guests are there to see the formalities more than anything. And that's what I say to clients, it's someone there to say, take to your seats, come and see the cake cut. Now we're going to do the first dance. The caterings that will be on site, the catering companies should be amazing. I mean, they are brilliant, but they're not out the front because they're in the back preparing the food. They're not there.
Ready to serve. They're too busy. So.
Yeah. And we know it so well that we know days will overrun. you know,
Yeah.
they can overrun massively.
Yeah.
You know, all you need is a bride to be half an hour late to the wedding.
Yeah.
And everything then gets pushed back, and it's normally us photographers and videographers that we sort of go, actually, well, we'll limit that bit then, so you make sure you sat down at 4 o'clock to eat, because we don't want the chef or the catering company moaning at us going, oh my God, this beef is going...
No, 100%. And to be honest, I think from my catering experience, the one thing that has to be on time is the food, because otherwise the quality of the food drops.
Yes.
And that's not good. And I think personally food is one of the biggest, most important aspects on your wedding day. People might say something slightly different, but if your guests are walking out the wedding thinking, I'm really hungry, I'm going to go to McDonald's on the way home, you've done something wrong. Mm-hmm. And that's a massive statement to make, but food is probably the most important thing. As well as obviously the bride and groom actually turning up, but after that, the food.
Imagine?
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Never had that. 300 odd weddings, never had that.
I've never had it, but I've had a very late arrival.
We've had
at
very
a
late
wedding
brides.
before.
Yeah, I've had a late one. It started last year, the first one last year. She's 45 minutes late. And if it was 15 minutes later, the registrars were just going to walk out.
Yeah, I can definitely beat on that. 1 hour and 40 last year.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And it was a church wedding. They were the most
my word.
gorgeous couple. I absolutely love them so much. But yeah,
What did the vicar say?
slightly stressful.
I can sort of beat that as well. We've had a bride 2 hours late.
2 hours late.
But there was
Oh my
a huge story to this. It was a place called Hogarth in Solihull, and they've got a beautiful little island where they get married on. So you can walk down the formal garden, so you go over the little bridge and onto this little island, and that's where they get married.
Beautiful.
It is stunning. And everyone was going down, and they had a great uncle who was about in his 80s, and he tripped and fell.
Oh.
And he broke his collarbone.
Oh my gosh.
So they had to get paramedics out.
Wow.
So this is at the point where the bride was coming down.
Wow.
And they ended up having to get paramedics. It was the West Midlands Ambulance Service. They were amazing.
Yeah.
They even stayed with the gentleman, and the gentleman was on drip with pain relief, and they sat there and watched the service.
That's
and
so
then
nice.
After the service happened, they put him in the ambulance, and off he went to hospital.
Oh, that is so
But
sweet.
it was just that was really, really late. That was really late.
They'll have a good story to tell though. They'll go back to
oh
their
my
colleagues and say,
God.
how was your day? And they'll say how maybe horrible challenging their day was. Oh, we actually attended a wedding in the end, so
Yeah.
they can wait up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. But say going back to speaking to your couples. So I'll say on the day, how does your role kind of play out with the couple? So where do you start?
So I always touch base with the clients first. So making sure they're there. Especially you typically find the bride stays on site the day before. Mm-hmm. Most venues do have kind of like an overnight stay now, don't they? So go and touch base with the bride, see if she's okay, see if she needs anything. Most of the time they're already on the Prosecco, 7 a.m. They're already on it, so they're totally fine. And then it's making sure all the suppliers are turning up, making sure they're all there ready. You know, the lights are on, if the heating needs to be on, anything like that. If the aircon needs to be on, depending on what time of year the wedding is. Mm-hmm. Just making sure everything is absolutely spot on. And just liaising with the suppliers, you know. People turn up, they need a plug-in socket, making sure they've got access to electricity, make sure the suppliers have got water. I always look after the suppliers on the wedding day. I think it's so important.
We love that. We love that.
We've yet to do a wedding together, actually, guys.
We have. This is it. It's, I think, how long have you been going now independently?
So I launched at really rubbish time, end of 2019.
And 2019, so
Brilliant.
then basically
Straight into COVID.
COVID hit.
Time, yeah.
Well timed there.
I think this is it. For wedding planning, now we typically get booked up 18 months, 2 years in advance for photographers.
Yeah.
After the venue and the church maybe, then it's normally photographers, videographers that tend to get booked up really quickly. So obviously when timing's for you, it's probably going to take a good 3 or 4 years in the planning that we would actually meet and cross lines. One day.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. But yeah, no, I kind of get booked 18 to 12 months before, sometimes even up to the 2-year mark before. Mm-hmm. Depends how organised a couple are. But some couples, I think, they go into the planning process like, yeah, we can do this, we don't need any help. And then they realise halfway through, yeah, we need some help.
You all right, Dennis? You all right?
So yeah, I think they realise how much there is to it, how overwhelming it can be, and then they want some help then. Yeah. Depends on how they feel.
It's funny, isn't it? Because some people go in to wedding planning and have it all sorted. They know exactly what they want. And then some people think, oh, I can do that myself. And I can do that. Things like stationery. People can go, oh, I can do that myself. That's fine. And then we think, well, they've got to do 100 individual invitations. And you think, that starts, you start thinking, oh, yeah, I can do this. Perfect. Oh, it's looking beautiful. And then when you get to your 40th and your 50th, you're thinking, oh, I'm really knackered of this.
Absolutely.
And I can't be bothered with these now.
No, 100%. And it's also, I think, with DIY weddings, if they're doing their own stationery, I'm all for it. Absolutely go for it if you're really creative.
Yeah, definitely.
100%. But then they get to that point where they're like, what time will we sit down for food? What time should we do our first dance and our cake cut? And they don't know who to ask. That's the sort of questions that I get, especially with the on-day coordination package. It's touch base in a few weeks before the wedding and going over things like that, because some people just don't know what times to do things.
So tell us a little bit about your packages then, because obviously you say you do different things.
Yes. So my full planning package is my favourite one. Definitely one people should book. It's
hint, hint.
Nudge, nudge. It's starting from everything. So helping them find the best venue, all their suppliers, theming, styling, colour palettes, logistics of the wedding day, helping with RSVPs, taking off the admin stress from them, so arranging meetings with their suppliers.
Oh, okay.
Because you find a lot of people who book the on-day coordination and the full planning package are people that literally have no time. They're working full-time jobs, they've got family commitments, etc. They have no time to plan a wedding. So for me to take that pressure off them admin-wise is really helpful.
Especially things like the RSVPs, that people are constantly saying, oh, how many people got for the day? Oh, I'm not too sure because I haven't had so many people back, and that's really hard.
You always find it's the closest members of family that don't get back to them either.
It always is, isn't it?
It's always like their auntie or uncle or someone like that.
Uncle John hasn't replied yet.
But they've given them a yes, we can come verbally. They don't think they think that's acceptable RSVP.
But then we need your menu choice.
Yeah, it's not acceptable. Send back the RSVP.
Takes a minute. Tick.
Tick a box.
In the post.
So if anyone listens to this and they haven't replied to any of their invitations they've received off people they know, get it in the post.
The couple will hate you forever if you don't send it back. Just tick the box.
It delays everything as well, doesn't it?
It really does. It is really stressful. My one tip to clients for that is put a date on the RSVP as what date they need them back. Sometimes if there's a deadline, it does help the situation. But you always have the one or two members, or someone's pregnant and they don't know whether they're going to bring the child or not. Things like that. I mean, that's a very controversial topic as well. I don't know if you guys have found that.
Hugely. Kids at weddings, yes or no? But that's going to be a completely different podcast, maybe.
Yeah, that's going to be completely... You could go into a whole video
and
to
even just between me and you say, I love kids at weddings. The amount of photos I've got of children at weddings, and they are just absolute gems. We've had everything from people, children sticking their tongues out at us, picking their nose in the middle of the aisle. Amazing. I love how the kids are amazing, and they really bring the personalities of
they're just free spirits, kids. Aren't they? They just don't care. Kids are great.
I was literally babysitting probably about almost 15 kids. we're at Iscoy Park. I'm there, so they had a church wedding. We got back to the venue at Iscoy Park, and I need to get the drone establishing shot for the film. Sent it up, and all these kids are chasing the drone across this field. So obviously I bring it back, and they can see me there holding my little controller. So they all, you told all the kids to surround me. So, look, you can see what the drone sees. That's there.
Look, is that the drone? I can't see the drone. It's just up there. Wave.
Wave, and then look at the screen, just all waving. It's I can see myself now.
That is so sweet.
But kids are amazing at weddings. Just let them do what they need to do. But there are some times where you just make sure they are safe. Someone is looking after them. So as long as they're looked after. So in terms of your big package and kind of getting in touch with suppliers, is it you who mainly does it?
Yes, so what I typically do is within the first 4 months of a client booking me, this all depends on when their wedding is, by the way. In the first 4 months, ideally I want to get all the suppliers confirmed. because supplier admin can then start to build up. The 8 weeks prior to the wedding is when all the suppliers want to know the logistics, the timeline. You guys know this. You want all the information at that point. So I try and get all the suppliers, sourced within the first 4 months.
Okay. How does it work then with the deposits then for the clients? So obviously every supplier will need a deposit of something.
Yeah.
You just go, I've booked. Do they meet with the suppliers as well, or is it...
So I don't do any money handling on behalf of my clients at all. They figure all that out themselves. So I basically would reach out to the suppliers and say, this is a client, they're really interested in having a photographer, for instance. Are you free their wedding date? Yes, we are. Brilliant. I like your, style. I think it'll go well with their wedding. Let's get you sorted for a call. And then I schedule the call for them.
Okay.
And then anything regarding like deposits and payment things, that's for them to discuss with the client.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I typically try not to get involved in any money handling for the
clients.
clients.
Quite a touchy subject, money, so...
Yes, it's a sensitive subject. I find I have to tread very carefully around that with clients.
So which usually is it, I'm guessing, it would be the venue is the first thing you kind of go through with the couple?
100%, yeah, absolutely. Because you can't talk to suppliers about a venue in mind and a date.
Yeah.
It's just a totally open conversation, which is literally going to go nowhere.
And as a wedding planner, and even us, we've been to so many different venues. We know the good, bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
So the ones that are really worth the money, and even things like what time of year they're getting married at.
Yeah.
What venues would work well at that time of year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know some venues that I would recommend straight away, but then there's some that I ideally wouldn't, and that's it's multiple things that make that decision.
It always depends on the client's brief, I suppose, isn't
Absolutely.
it? If they're looking for a barn wedding, you know the best barn types of weddings around there, and what if they're looking for hotels or anything like that,
and their budget. It depends on their budget as well, massively.
As long as everything's in budget, and that's probably one of the biggest things people don't realise. Well, weddings are so now really expensive.
Yeah.
To handle, so that's why a lot of people are doing these DIY weddings and things like that. So that's where obviously you come in and it helps.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't even say DIY is necessarily a cheaper option. In some ways, it actually can be more expensive, especially for marquees, because as we said earlier, you've got to think about floor, you've got to think about a generator, toilets, electricity, water,
catering,
everything is you're getting potentially a little bit of grass on the floor. And you've got to find everything. So actually marquee weddings are probably more expensive.
Yeah, they are.
With a venue, you typically find that you get a package.
Yes.
So the costs seem higher, but you get more for your money involved.
Yeah, and then again, like I said, it's less stress for them as well, because the venue will do so much for them.
Yeah,
because they'll have links with suppliers like entertainment,
even things like setting them up in the morning and setting everything down at night and things like that, and all the cleaning up. When you do your own DIY wedding, then it is very much the next day you are hungover for one, and be trying to clean up
plates and rubbish.
Yeah,
because you have to leave it as it was.
This is it.
Absolutely. And then obviously for me, some clients do want me the next day helping. Totally fine for that. Then it's 2-day cost. So it's not always the cheaper option, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think if they've got time, they are very creative individuals, like go for it. If they want to make their own stationery, do their own flowers, everything like that, absolutely. But another thing to consider is people who do that, they're then going to think, say for example, they have 10 round tables and they're doing huge tall centerpieces. They're going to be walking away with 10 centerpieces. That they've got to put somewhere.
Where are you going to put them?
A lot of clients don't think about that.
Just put that out in the garden, nice little...
around the house.
We've had marquee weddings and they've gone... they've been absolutely beautiful and really personal. One was I think it was her dad. He works a lot in timber, so we had all pergolas made and all seating made out of rustic timber. We've had one where they're all into their sports, so they had all different family skis stuck in the ground and had all the festival lights put around.
Cute.
It was amazing.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You could really put your own stamp on those.
I agree. You can make weddings more personalised with a DIY.
Yeah.
Some venues you are quite limited to what you can do, so it's just something to consider.
And even some venues, you can't have pets in the venue and things like that. That's so many of our clients want their dog at the wedding. So some venues won't allow pets and things like that. So
I think bring your dog to your wedding. 100%.
Oh my God.
Bring your furry friends along.
I can bring ours anywhere.
And anyone watching this, you can see we've got our 2 little cockaboos here, Dennis and Henry. Oh my God, they're mad.
They're just absolutely chilled, which this is not normal for them. Not normal at all.
Usually they've got a ball in their mouth.
We've hidden all the balls.
We've hidden all of them, so we don't get to film.
Yeah, poor Amelia, you would not have a minute's peace because
That's so cute.
Henry, the brown one, will be just sat there just waiting for you to throw the ball.
We've said ball.
Here we go.
We've said ball.
We've said the B word. Oh no, he's a bit warm. He's on now. He's gone out of shot. But yeah, well, what are the say couples have just got engaged, got into first bit of advice you could give to a couple? What is the main bit of advice you can give to them?
Oh, don't rush, I think. Also, some people think that they can't have a long engagement these days. I think people like to quickly get into it, which is totally fine. I'm all for that, but everyone's different, obviously. Yeah. By the time I get married next year, I'd have had a 5-year engagement. So that's pretty long, but some clients don't have that. They sort of have a year turnaround. Yeah. So don't rush, and also have a budget in mind, especially if you're approaching a planner, because that's one of the first questions I'll ask you. Now, I know a lot of people, I asked that question to a lot of people, and their response is, I can't set a budget because I don't know how much things are going to cost.
This is the thing.
And it is hard.
There's so many people we turn around and we speak to, they go, oh my God, I cannot realise how expensive weddings are.
Yeah.
And I think it's really hard. We know everyone works to a budget. We know that, and we know, especially for photography, some people are all about the photos, and that is quite a big part of their budget. Yeah. Some people aren't that fussed about photography. That's fine. That's their problem. That's their
That's their choice.
That's their choice.
Yeah.
But it's not until you start getting prices in and looking and speaking to 3 or 4 different wedding suppliers of each thing, so things like cakes, florists, everything like that, to then know, roughly this is how much it's going to cost.
Absolutely. That's one thing that clients really struggle with. And also, I always ask, what would you happily spend? And then do you have a contingency on top of that? But then also, some clients want to consider potentially having family contributions towards their wedding, and things like that. But things, as their planning process continues, money comes in. Sometimes they might get, promotion at work, so they might be able to put a little bit more budget, or, someone's offered to pay for the cake, Nan's offered to pay for the cake, or anything like that. So then the budget can kind of go up a little bit more.
Yeah.
So it fluctuates throughout the planning, but definitely have a figure in mind for me to start off. Otherwise I feel bad if I recommend an amazing venue or photographer or anything like that. They fall in love with their work and then it's out of their budget. It's the most disheartening thing for my clients, and I don't want them to feel that.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with don't rush.
Yeah.
Honestly, don't rush, because if you plan, say, like you said, 5 years for yourself, but give yourself, say, 3 years, 2 to 3 years.
Enjoy being engaged. Enjoy being engaged.
Enjoy the planning process, because I know it can be stressful.
Yeah.
But if you give yourself the time, it could be really enjoyable. Meeting all these suppliers, going around all these venues.
Yeah, wedding fairs, open days. It is exciting.
Exactly. And if you give yourself that amount of time, these suppliers who you really, really want, you could probably get them, because you've given them the time that they're probably starting to book up then.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're starting to book. We're booking 2025 now.
Yeah, me too.
So
25 now.
It's giving yourself the time, your suppliers the time. Just enjoy it.
I think everyone's different though. Some people like that time.
Yeah.
And go, actually, I know if it's 2023 now, if we get married 2025, that gives us 2 years.
Yeah.
So I know how much budget every month, or
exactly.
I know how much the deposits are, and when final payments are due, and I can, every month put so much away, and things like that. But then some people go, oh God, that'd be my biggest nightmare, is to wait 2 years. Speaking to people at wedding fairs, they've turned around and gone, when you get married, they go October. I go October next year, no, this year.
Yeah.
Because we said, if we're getting married, we're going to get married now.
Absolutely. Everyone's so different.
Everyone's different. Of course.
I feel for me, time has gone so fast. We booked our wedding venue last year and we're getting married next year now, which is crazy to think. You know, it's gone really quickly. So it hasn't bothered us as much.
So I suppose it's nice actually, because obviously all your you're going through exactly what your clients are going through.
100%. I use that actually, because I say to brides, I get it.
Yeah.
I used to get how a wedding day runs, how the logistics and formalities should be, all that, you know, planning everything. But I didn't get the experience of planning my own wedding until now. So now I get it when my clients say to me, guest expectations, the family expectations of your wedding is nuts. And I used to be like, yeah, I can imagine that's really difficult. But now I'm like, I know, it's so it's horrible. I don't necessarily feel pressure. My parents are really chilled out. They're very, very excited for the wedding day, but they've not, you know, pushed any ideas on us. And my in-laws, again, they're pretty much the same. They're just very excited. But it's other people in the family, and also kind of like, oh, is so-and-so invited then because that person's invited? Well, no, because I haven't spoke to that person in like 3 years. So I'm not going to pay £50 whatever plus them to come.
Yeah. It's
so difficult.
Having that guest list, cutting that down, because say you got a venue that within their package it's like 80 people or something like that. You really got to cut that down.
Yeah.
So especially you've got big families like yourselves.
Big families.
My partner has a huge family.
All these young kids, aunties, uncles, cousins, you've got so many. But then you do want to invite your really close friends as well.
Yeah.
So if you've got a big family, it's hard to cut.
It's so hard.
It's the people who make the cut for the day.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of people can then come along in the evening.
Yeah.
But
I think when my clients say that to me, I then recommend ideas. So, for example, making your evening guests feel just as special. So I've got some clients this year, we're going to do a favour table and a welcome drinks table for their evening guests.
Oh, okay.
So when their evening guests come to the venue, the bride and groom potentially take, you know, half an hour out of their time, out of the evening, to stand there and wait for the arrival of their evening guests, personally greet them, give them a free drink or a drinks token and a favour. So they feel included in something, you know, they feel special, even though they kind of made the evening cut. This
is like, obviously you know what we do, obviously being the photography, and we do something that's quite rare. So what we do is for the evening, as obviously everyone's having their wedding breakfast, we upload the photos we've taken at the day, and we do like a little slideshow for the evening. So as the evening guests come, they can see little moments of what's happened through the day. It's not obviously loads of photos or anything like that, but it gives them an idea of what's happened through the day.
That's
so then
lovely.
they feel part. That they haven't just cut it for the evening.
Yeah,
they've seen what's happened through the day
before it makes social media and things like that.
Yeah, before you get, you know, the ones that turn around and have their own little wedding album, and everyone then post all their photos to their Facebook page or Instagram page or whatever it is.
That's a nice idea.
How many weddings have you been to where you've seen the photos? So you got to wait quite a while to see them.
Yeah, and honestly, none. I've not seen that done.
I've seen them on the day.
I think that's a brilliant idea. Well done, guys.
I mean, we were speaking to a woman the other week at Hawkston Hall. She had been to a wedding. She was leaving guests, arrived, bride was beautiful, lovely. 2 weeks later, the photos came out. The bride had changed her dress. She sees the evening dress.
Two dresses.
She had two dresses. Mm-hmm. But people coming to the evening, they didn't know that.
Yeah.
So
they didn't see the day dress.
Yeah.
They just saw the evening dress.
Obviously, it's very rare that people do buy two dresses, because you've spent so much money on this beautiful dress, you want to wear it all day.
Oh, for sure.
So
although it's becoming quite popular, actually.
It's starting to creep up a little bit, but it's just being able to see that as well.
Yeah.
You know, it adds something extra for your evening guests for when they come along. It's not just coming up to say hello to you guys.
Welcome to the evening, have some buffet food. See you later.
Yeah. There's a dancing floor.
Yeah, make them feel more welcome. And it's going back to what I said earlier about the 3 stages of inviting guests. That again, that's becoming more popular now. Yeah. I'm all for it, actually. The intimate ceremony and meal. Wish we could do that now, but it's too late. Save the dates have gone out.
This is it. I've never heard of that, which I think that's an amazing idea. You say you got your small intimate, then you've got other people that come later, and then obviously your evening guests as well.
Yeah, we're flipping it round, and I think wedding kind of logistics and formalities and traditions, they're totally kind of going away now. I think people are embracing and making it more of their own.
Yeah.
So we're doing, instead of a drink reception and canapé service, which we typically obviously have after your ceremony, we're doing it after an intimate meal, and not calling it drink reception, calling it cocktail hour. So people come into cocktail hour and they've got more guests coming. So they get to see cocktails and canapés and see you and play garden games on the lawn, and then they can enjoy some evening food later. So they still feel involved.
I think this is it, how weddings are so unique. Like, we've done one where the couple actually lived in Australia, but she was French and he was English, and their wedding was all based around the French wedding. So what they do is they have all their photos before they got married. So couple photos, family photos, then they go and get married, and then they go and eat, and then they obviously have their evening reception.
Oh, wow.
So it was really odd for us to do couple shots and family shots, and the bride and groom not even married yet.
Yeah.
But it was so lovely. It was so different.
I'm all for embracing different cultures. I've got a few this year that are different, and last year as well.
Yeah.
Last year I did a wedding incorporating Japanese, New Zealand, Italian culture into the wedding.
Wow.
It was amazing.
That's incredible.
It was so much fun.
The different
So much
cultures is.
This is it. It's so lovely.
Look at American wedding. It's not too much of a different but my God, the weddings are so different.
Oh, they're
the
amazing out
structure
there.
of the day,
they're huge, aren't they?
Yeah.
And little bits are coming into the UK now, which
I
things like the flower men that are walking down the aisle
with their
throwing
bag.
I love it.
I'm trying to find someone that would do that at my wedding. I think I have someone in mind.
I'm Owen. We'll just hire her out.
Owen, you'll do that for me.
I'll just come along and do that. That's fine.
But yeah, I think when I talk to older generations, like grandparents and things like that, and I talk about how the wedding industry is evolving, all the things that people can have. For example, we've booked a audio guest book. You seen those?
Oh, they're class.
Where you step in, people record their message.
Yeah.
I told my partner's grandparents, they were amazed. They were like, that is totally over the top. In fact, even my dad said that. And I had to explain, this is what the industry's like now. It's becoming a little bit more Americanised. So as a planner, I am all for that. I love it.
It is. It's one of those, isn't it? That little things like that. But then I do still like the tradition, and I think near enough every wedding we still have, the brides will have something old, something borrowed, something new.
Yes, that's stuck around a lot, actually.
That is, it's still in every single wedding. But when obviously me and James got married, we had a receiving line. So as your day guests come in to go and be seated to eat, I'm going, hello, thank you very much, congratulations.
You rarely see it anymore.
This is it. And when we have it all on our little contracts that people fill out, and they'll go, they'll message me and go, what's the receiving line?
Yeah.
And I go, it's one of these. And they go, oh no, we're not on that.
Yeah,
and
they are super time consuming, to be honest, especially if you've got a massive wedding.
Yeah.
Yes.
And everyone's starving. Just get everyone in, sat down and fed. Honestly, you can speak to. I'll be honest, that they're not for me, I think.
But then for the larger weddings, people will do them because they know they've at least said hello to them on their wedding day.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. I think the 3-section breakup, as I said, is probably a really good way to do that. But it's things like the bouquet toss. Don't see that
very
anymore.
rarely we do that now.
But I think it's because flowers are so expensive.
I'm not going to lie, I think I've done it twice. I think I've only ever done it twice, from what I can remember.
Yeah.
The first wedding I ever filmed, we did it. And one not so long after that, but ever since then, I really can't remember.
I've never done a wedding of my own with a flower toss, ever. But I think it's
because
because
one did like a little different posy for it, and it's just literally
yes, I was going to say people do that, don't they?
That was it.
They get a second bouquet just for the bouquet toss because they don't want to throw their £150 bouquet in the air. Give it to someone else.
Some of them are really heavy.
So heavy.
Yeah, I'm not throwing mine. It's mine. No one's touching it.
This is funny. Sometimes you do get the reactions. We've done some now. I think it was that first wedding. They did that. Girl caught it, and her partner just legged it.
And
it was like, no way.
See you later.
Ta-ra.
Wasn't he was behind me whilst I'm there filming it, and I just turn around and he's gone. I'm like, I wish I caught that.
The smoke.
It was
I've seen some
hilarious.
TikToks recently where they've done that, and then the bride's given it to a bridesmaid, and then that bridesmaid's been proposed to at their wedding.
Oh yeah.
What is that about? That is not for me.
Talk about stealing
the
thunder.
Oh yes, yeah.
If someone asked me to sit at my
reference.
If someone asked me to sit at my wedding, it would be an absolute straight up no.
No,
that is not happening
chance.
at my wedding.
No chance. This is my day. I've paid a lot of money for this day.
Honestly, I guess some people just really like their friends. I mean, I love my girls, but not that much.
No, this is your day.
And I think it's quite funny, when couples will sit on, especially like me and James. I'll be on my James will be there and I'll be there, and the TV will be on. We're not even entertaining what's on the TV. I'm scrolling and I'm looking and everything like that. And we've had couples that have turned around and said, "Oh, I've seen this on Instagram or I've seen this on Pinterest. Can you possibly do it?" And we're all up for doing something that they want a really big input into their photos. Fantastic. When it borderlines cheese, and I'm going, are we sure we want that?
Yeah.
Because for us, it's that timeless element for us. Like, I love the traditional. I love everything that's coming in that's modern and something different and something unique to that couple, which is fantastic. It's just, we've had specific ideas for photos, and these are the ones I know that will come round in 10 years' time going, oh my God, look what they were doing. And that could be one of your photos.
Yeah.
And for us, we would do it, obviously, because our bride and grooms are technically our employers. So whatever they want, they will get.
Yes.
But I always turn around and think, just think about it. It's funny now. In 10 years' time, you'd be like going,
I think,
what were we doing?
I think though, when clients book you, they're not just booking your services, they're booking you for your professional opinion as well.
Completely.
Yeah.
So for me as a planner, if someone, if one of my clients propose an idea, sometimes I will not challenge it, but I'll question it a little bit with them and ask them, okay, that sounds good. Why do you want to do this? What relevance does it have? And then kind of question them, because I think sometimes, like you said, it could be good now, but in 10 years and they look back, they're going to think, if it's cringy or
and this is it.
something like that.
Again, this is another podcast. Biggest regrets on your wedding day. What did we regret? What didn't we regret?
Yeah.
What really worked and we loved? What did we think, we didn't need at the time, or we did at the time, they were thinking, what were we thinking?
You can do that next year when I've been married, and then we can do it again.
We can do that.
Yeah, we'll come back on and we can.
What's your regret? Inviting so many people to your wedding.
We can do a wedding review. So as a planner yourself, you can review your own wedding.
I'll be there with my little book saying, regret doing this, I should have done that.
Yeah, and I think
best decision was.
Going back to, like you say, when you book your suppliers, like we've been in the industry 12, 13 years, and we have seen absolutely everything, near enough, absolutely everything. So we know what works. So we know what time of day is perfect for lighting, and what time of year is perfect, especially if you're looking for a winter wedding. Maybe bring your wedding a little bit forward so you can maximise the daylight and things like that. So it's for couples having their trust in their suppliers, that is the most important
100%.
thing. So you know how a wedding is supposed to be run, and for them to put their trust into you guys and to us, into venue dressers, whoever their suppliers are, that trust has got to be there.
100%. And that's going back to the whole relationship thing with me.
Yes.
I always say to my clients, look, we'll have our consultation, we do the consultation.
Yeah.
And at the end I'll say, this sounds really good. I feel like we've got a really good relationship. If you go ahead with me, my number one rule is be honest with me. Completely. If I propose a styling or a colour palette that doesn't suit you, tell me. Don't just say yes because you don't want to upset me. I'm thick-skinned, You've got to be honest with me. If you don't like it, just say it, because it's your wedding. You're putting your trust in me.
Yeah.
Don't just say yes for the sake of saying yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got one rule. What's the rule? The rule is, if you don't like your photographer, you ain't gonna like your photos.
You're not gonna like your photos.
Same goes for video. Same goes for your entertainment. Anything. If you do not have a good relationship with them, all you're gonna do is you look back at everything and go, I remember how if they did this, they did that. I didn't like them doing that.
Yeah.
That's all you're going to remember.
Yeah.
You need a good relationship with them.
You definitely do, and especially with you spend all day with your clients. We spend all day with our clients. So we need to make sure that they feel they like us, they trust us.
Yeah.
We've got that rapport. We can have a laugh to them with them.
Yeah, my goodness, yeah.
Because we're there all day.
Absolutely.
And having that relationship with them makes them feel so much more at ease at the day. And this is why, again, we do pre-shoots, because we build that up even before the day. So especially, you don't want the nerves of a bride in hair and makeup, and then here I come, I'm there with my camera, and I'm starting taking photos of them, and I'm thinking, I booked her 18 months ago, I can't even remember what she looks like.
Exactly.
So having that refresher, 6-8 weeks before, building up that relationship even before the day, it just makes everything so smooth. But like you say, if you don't like your photographer, behind every photo there's going to be a memory.
Yes.
Every photo that's taken. So it could be where we are taking the mick out of someone, we're having a good laugh and a bit of a giggle and getting them to break down those barriers. If we're those stuffy types of photographers and going da-da-da-da and ordering about and doing something that's not reflective of that couple and what they're like with each other, we've had couples that have literally taken the mick out of each other all day. And to get one standard look at us smiling, it's not them. It's not them. We've had people stick their tongues down each other's ears and things like that. But that's them.
Nice.
That is them.
Honestly, their own.
So if we were telling them to do something or asking them to do something that's not them, they're going to look at that photo and go, well, that's not us. 100%. I don't like that. I don't
100%.
like that.
I mean, I had a consultation last week with a bride, and we bounced straight away. In fact, within the first 2 minutes of this Zoom call, I asked her, how's your week been? Starting it off, as you do. She was like, I'll show you how my week's been. And she held a glass of wine in front of the camera. Now, I had a glass of wine off camera. Normally, I would never disclose that. Normally, I actually wouldn't drink on a Zoom. But it was just also one of them weeks. So I went, oh, me too. And from that, we hit it off and they booked me.
Because
it's showing people that you're not just a business person. You're not just a company. You're not just a name. You're not just a brand. You're actually a person doing this work.
We're the exact same as you.
100%.
And that's the way to say
that's showing a bit of showing vulnerability, showing actually your personality.
This is the thing, and I remember, it's going back years and years and years and years ago, one of our first-ish weddings over in Birmingham, and the wedding was over V-Fest, so we didn't want to get stuck on the M54 going down the middle of V-Fest. So we stayed the night before. So we know we're there on site, ready to go, so we're not stuck in traffic. And we got there the evening before, and we checked in, and we said, come on, let's go to the bar, as you do. And the bride was there with all her family having drinks and having a meal. So they said, come on over. And we sat with them, spent most of the evening with them. Then we did all the wedding. And it wasn't until one of the uncles in the evening went, so which part of the family are you from? And I went, we're just the photographers.
So nice.
And he turned around and went, I honestly thought you were family, just the way you blended in so well.
Nice.
Obviously, because we were taking the mick out of him because he was walking around this great big iPad, trying to video us. Hilarious. But he turned around and he goes, "Don't ever change."
Oh, that's so lovely.
But this is it. This is just us.
Yeah.
This is just us. Hence why you're sitting in our living room.
Yeah, absolutely.
So going into looking on for 2022, heading into 2023, what is it you're looking to kind of push forward more with the business?
Oh, that's a good question. So obviously I think everyone's motive is to continue to get bookings.
Yep, definitely.
For me, I want to get my name out a bit more and expand where I'm going to as well. Obviously we're in Shropshire, which Shropshire is beautiful, but kind of coming out of that a little bit more into the cities. Doing a branding shoot this year, things like that, working on my marketing and things like that. So I think some people, when you set up a business, they don't realise that you're not just doing the job that you're doing, it's also running a business. So I think this year I want to split my time a little bit more on client work, but also managing the company.
That's what we were sort of talking about, price as well and budgets and things like that, is people don't realise what goes on behind the scene for any supplier in the wedding industry. That, if it's florist, it's getting those flowers in, getting them conditioned, getting them prepped, ready for the thank you very much, Dennis, that's very nice of you to kiss me, getting ready to making them and making sure that they're tip-top condition, so the buds of the roses are open at that precise moment she's making those bouquets.
Yes.
Or he's making those bouquets.
Wedding cakes as well. Wedding cakes, getting all that planned out, and what flavours, all the different tiers and layers of it.
Yeah.
The hours it goes in behind for every supplier is huge, and that's why when we look at other suppliers, and you look at some people that go, oh, we're doing this service for this much, and you're thinking, how can they charge that? So, you're thinking
100%.
it is. Some things are too good to be true, to be honest. If the price is too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah.
There's a downfall somewhere where there is, say, if it's a photographer, they haven't got the huge amount of experience, they haven't got the photography knowledge or something, they're just starting out, which, don't get me wrong, is amazing. But you've got to know that those risks in that as well.
Yeah, 100%. So, I've been questioned on my pricing a few times, and to be honest, I'm going into this year with very transparent pricing.
Yeah.
So that means they're now going to be any inquiry, they get booked into a consultation. Between the consultation and between agreeing to the consultation and it taking place, I send out a brochure, and in that brochure is all my packages, my pricing.
Yep.
I'm going to be transparent about it.
Yep.
And I have been questioned, and my response is very clear. It is, I can't put a price on taking your stress away.
Yeah.
You can't put a price on a stress-free wedding planning, can you?
No. And the thing, we're talking about wedding venues as well, that we've obviously been to hundreds of different wedding venues, and some clients can see 2 or 3 different wedding planners from that one venue.
Yeah.
So with you get you, which is absolutely, that is the top key, because you're there as that wedding buddy, you're there as that professional to see that wedding all the way through. When you've got other venues where you've got different wedding planners, that you start off loving that venue because you like that wedding planner and you make those connections, and then they find they've moved on and someone else is there running their day, and you can that's so hard. And it's like, for us as photographers, you book us, you get us. We don't have associates or anything like that work for us. It is us.
That is it. That's, as it says on the can, what you see is what you get.
Yeah,
and
100%.
That's exactly what
it's the same with me.
With
I have a few times had the conversation with clients when they've come to the consultation and said, look, we've got a venue, we don't need to find a venue. Okay, brilliant. We've got wedding coordinators. And I'm like, okay, that's great. Really, really glad. But they're very different to me. And I can confidently say that because I have been a wedding coordinator at a venue. They're not planners. They deal with hundreds and hundreds of couples a year. They won't give you that one-to-one time. They won't be as nuts as me and reply to your Instagram DM at 9 o'clock on a Saturday night because you're panicking about something. They won't be there to advise on styling or anything like that. Respectfully, they're there to look after the venue. Make sure supplies are there, yes, but they won't have any of the personal touch as much as me. They will have a personal touch, but like you said, people leave wedding venues. I'm not going anywhere, the name of my company is my name, so that's you get me, you know what I mean? So
I think that is the key, isn't it? Is another little top tip is just do your research.
Do your research, 100%. Pricing as well.
Look what's involved.
See what you get for it.
Everyone's got different. Even I keep on harping back to photography because that's our business. Everyone's got different packages. Some people do it every for different hours. Some people do it for a half day, full day. Some people do a weekday, and some people do and different to a weekend. Summer and winter, everything like that. So it is.
For me, I think I like to say that I'm a triple threat of the industry. So I've got catering experience, coordination experience, and planning experience.
Yes.
So with that, I bring a lot of knowledge.
I'd actually add a fourth bit to that. You engage yourself.
I am engaged myself.
So there you go. There's 4 aspects to it.
Yeah.
But I think we can kind of conclude and say, if you haven't got a wedding planner,
book me.
Get one.
No one else, just me.
Just Amelia. If you haven't got one, Amelia's the person you talk to.
Thank you.
But it's been actually lovely just to sit and chat.
Thank you
and
so
just,
much.
You know, find out more about what your business is, and hopefully when people are, you know, listening to this podcast when they're doing their washing up, and our dogs are going barking now, when you're washing up, like that's when I literally listen to most of my podcasts, when I'm washing up, doing my housework,
absolutely,
or driving in the car, and it's little things that hopefully we've shown in this podcast that go, never thought about that.
Absolutely.
And for you, and not everyone thinks about having a wedding planner.
No, they don't. But
so
I'll be your best friend, advice, talk about wedding, get excited with you. I've been called an agony aunt in the past and even a seamstress, so I'm here to do whatever you need.
This is it. Absolutely perfect.
That's brilliant.
Cool.
Well, thank you
for having me, guys.
Thank you for coming. And good luck for 2023.
And you. And hopefully we'll work on a wedding together.
We will hopefully do that very soon.
Thank you for listening to the JOL Wedding Podcast. Share this podcast with anyone you know who is on the journey of planning a wedding. Check out other episodes of this podcast as well as links to our social media platforms at the JOL Wedding Podcast.